I'm attorney Eric Guster with Guster Law Firm, and this is one of our educational videos that we do in order to educate the community about different issues, legal topics. And today we're going to talk about probation and probation violations, okay? Let me explain what each of those are and what they mean. When a person agrees to a sentence, or if they are sentenced by a judge to a term of imprisonment, for example, if they were in prison for 3 years, they may be placed on probation for a couple of years or 3 years or whatever. And what that means is the judge wants them to be supervised to make sure they stay out of trouble. One of the most common things that we see with probations is that a person does not obey the law. Because in the rules of probation, they have a catch-all. And I tell clients this, I tell their families this, there's a catch-all that says, avoid injurious and vicious habits. That means anything. I mean, anything. And if they get in trouble, and another thing that people do dealing with probation is if they catch a new case, new case, we're going to talk about the most probable probation violations. They get a new case. 1, don't report to the probation office. That is huge. If they don't know where a person is, if they're supposed to report once a month, then that is a huge issue. The third one is if they don't pay fees, the probation fees, or the restitution, which, let me explain to you about the probation fees and the restitution. Those are two separate payments. So often people will say, well, I paid my probation fees, of $40 a month, but they didn't pay on their restitution and court costs, which is a big deal, especially with these counties losing money as far as a court cost. That's a big deal. But the largest problem that they have is not paying restitution. When a person does not pay restitution, that means the victim, especially when it's with a theft or a home burglary, the victim is not being made whole by the person who committed the offense, and the judges take that very, very, very seriously. So you have to make sure you do that. And if a person does not do what they're supposed to do, to get a new case, they don't report, they don't pay probation fees, or they test positive for drugs or something like that, then what happens is called a probation violation. That is what happens in the event that a person gets in trouble while they're on probation. And what this means is that the violation will actually possibly send that person back to prison. So those cases are extremely serious. We do that all the time here at my law firm, at Guster Law Firm. We have the probation violations all over the state, but primarily in Jefferson and Shelby counties, because we try to get some other type of punitive action, some other type of punishment for the person if they violated their probation. And it gets kind of sketchy because we want to make sure that the judge is happy, the victim is happy, and we try to keep our client from going to prison. Because he's essentially on a probation violation, that is the possibility of them going back to prison. So you have to make sure that you make the court aware of any other factors. For example, if they couldn't report because of transportation, that's not a good factor. But if they couldn't pay money because they're too poor or indigent or they aren't working, that's a big deal. And the court has to know that that is what's going on with that person. They will sometimes be lenient if they were trying to make an effort. For example, I tell clients all the time, if you are on probation and you're ordered to pay court monies or court costs, pay something every single month. Because if you pay something every single month, then the court will know that you're actually trying to do something. I mean, sometimes people just don't pay a dime for a year, then they get caught, then they say, oh my goodness, I couldn't afford it. But you didn't go back to the judge, you didn't ask the judge for permission to reduce that payment, or you didn't make any effort. And judges don't like that, especially in our circuit. They don't play about taking care of the restitution. But this is our legal tip. If you have any questions or need to talk to a lawyer at Guster Law Firm, give us a call at 205-581-9777, 581-9777. Visit our website, gusterlawfirm.com, and I have a lot of videos on my personal page. That's ericguster.com.